This is Operation Absolute Resolve, the most brazen military strike in Latin America since Panama 1989. And unlike Panama, this operation was executed with surgical precision, overwhelming force, and months of CIA intelligence preparation that mapped every detail of Nicolás Maduro's life. Today on the Static Dispatch, we reveal the tactical execution of Operation Absolute Resolve, the panic room that failed, the Kentucky rehearsals, and why this marks the return of the Monroe Doctrine enforced at gunpoint. The operation began not on January 3rd, but months earlier, in August 2025, when CIA teams entered Venezuela without diplomatic cover. Their mission mapped Maduro's daily routine to the smallest detail. What time he wakes, what he eats for breakfast, where he sleeps, when security rotates shifts, the names of his pets, everything. This wasn't general intelligence gathering. This was target preparation for a decapitation strike. CIA operatives, likely posing as businessmen or aid workers, spent 4 months building a complete intelligence picture of Venezuela's presidential compound. They documented guard positions, camera locations, escape routes, and critically, the location and specifications of Maduro's panic room. By December 2025, the intelligence was complete. The CIA handed it to U.S. Joint Special Operations Command, JSOC, which controls Delta Force and other Tier 1 units. JSOC did something remarkable. They built an exact replica of Maduro's compound in Kentucky. Not a simulation, not a virtual model. A full-scale physical replica down to the furniture placement. General Dan Kane later explained why. We didn't practice to do it right. We practiced to eliminate any possibility of doing it wrong. Delta Force operators rehearsed the raid dozens of times. They knew which door would stick, which corridor echoed footsteps, how long it took to move from entry point to Maduro's bedroom. They memorized it until the raid became muscle memory, but they couldn't launch until weather conditions were perfect. The operation required helicopter insertion under radar detection threshold. That meant specific atmospheric conditions, cloud cover, and wind patterns. Trump waited 4 days. Every day, meteorologists briefed him. Not yet. On January 2nd, the forecast changed. The weather window opened. At 22:46 Eastern Time on January 2nd, President Trump gave final authorization from Mar-a-Lago. 7 hours later, Operation Absolute Resolve began. The strike package was overwhelming, 150-plus aircraft, including F-22 Raptors providing air superiority and suppressing Venezuelan air defenses, F-35 Lightning II conducting precision strikes on military targets, B-1 Lancer bombers hitting Fort Tiuna and La Calota Air Base, EA-18 Growlers jamming Venezuelan radar and communications, MH-60 Blackhawks inserting Delta Force operators, AC-130 gunships providing close air support. At 0200 a.m. Venezuelan time, the first bombs hit Fort Tiuna, Venezuela's largest military complex. Secondary explosions lit up the Caracas sky. La Carlota Air Base was struck simultaneously. Generalissimo Francisco de Miranda Air Base erupted in flames. Higuerote Airport was disabled. 7 major explosions across the capital in coordinated strikes. Venezuelan air defenses never fired, not once. Either they were suppressed by EA-18 electronic warfare, destroyed by F-35 strikes, or, and this is critical, someone turned them off from inside. More evidence of the insider who betrayed Maduro's location. While Caracas burned, Delta Force helicopters penetrated the presidential compound. Trump later described watching the operation live. I watched it literally like I was watching a television show. The speed, the violence, it was amazing. Now comes the most viral part of the story, Maduro's failed escape. When Delta Force breached the palace, Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores were in their bedroom. They heard the explosions. They heard helicopters. They knew it was over. Maduro ran for his panic room, a reinforced steel chamber designed to withstand anything. Trump revealed what happened next in his Fox News interview. Maduro tried to get into this all-steel safe room, completely steel all around, but our guys were so fast, he didn't even have time to close the door. Pause and picture that moment. Maduro sprinting down a corridor toward his panic room. The steel door is open, safety is 3 steps away, but Delta Force operators, trained for months in a Kentucky replica of this exact scenario, are faster. They reach him before the door closes. Trump added, "We had massive torches ready to cut through steel walls if we needed to, but we didn't need them. Our soldiers were just too fast." The image of Delta Force prepared to literally cut through a steel fortress, while Maduro, cowered inside, captures the asymmetry of force. 30 minutes. From first explosion to Maduro in handcuffs, 30 minutes. General Kane called it an operation that frankly only the United States military could undertake. He's right. No other nation on Earth has the intelligence apparatus to map a target for months, the special operations capability to build full-scale replicas and rehearse endlessly, the air power to deploy 150-plus aircraft simultaneously, and the precision to execute a decapitation strike in a foreign capital with 0 U.S. casualties. 0. No Americans died, minor injuries when one helicopter took ground fire, that's it. Venezuela claims civilian casualties but provides no evidence. The operation was surgical, hit military targets, capture Maduro, extract immediately. By 2:30 a.m., Maduro and Celia Flores were aboard MH-60 helicopters heading to the coast. By dawn, they were on the USS Iwo Jima, an amphibious assault ship deployed to the Caribbean specifically for this operation. The ship is now heading to New York, where Attorney General Pam Bondi has unsealed indictments in the Southern District of New York, charging both with narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, and weapons possession. Operation Absolute Resolve succeeded because of one critical element beyond air power and special operations training: human intelligence. Someone inside Maduro's inner circle betrayed him. Someone told the CIA exactly when Maduro would be in his bedroom. Someone provided the layout of the panic room. Someone ensured air defenses didn't fire. Venezuelan opposition sources told Sky News they believe this was a negotiated exit, meaning Venezuelan military officers cut deals with Washington. The evidence supports this. How else did Delta Force know precisely which room Maduro slept in? How did they know about the panic room? How did 150-plus U.S. aircraft penetrate Venezuelan airspace without a single surface-to-air missile being fired? The insider or insiders are now probably in Miami, waiting for $50 million bounty payments to clear into offshore accounts. They sold out Maduro to save themselves. Just like General Cliver Alcala Cordones, who pleaded guilty in U.S. court in 2024 and is now serving 20-plus years. Once one general flips, others follow. The Cartel of the Suns, Venezuela's military-run drug trafficking organization, imploded from within. This wasn't just a military operation. This was the culmination of a months-long strategic pressure campaign. August 2025, CIA teams enter Venezuela without diplomatic cover. September 2025, U.S. begins striking drug boats, 115 killed in 35 operations. November 2025, Cartel of the Suns designated foreign terrorist organization. December 2025, naval blockade imposed, 2 oil tankers seized. December 29th, CIA drone strikes Venezuelan dock facility. January 2nd, Trump gives final authorization. January 3rd, 0200 hours. Operation Absolute Resolve executed. Each step increased pressure. Each action demonstrated American resolve. Each move gave Venezuelan generals a choice: go down with Maduro or make a deal with Washington. By January, enough generals chose survival over loyalty. The Monroe Doctrine has returned. For those unfamiliar, the Monroe Doctrine, 1823, declared the Western Hemisphere America's sphere of influence and warned European powers not to interfere. For 200 years, it justified U.S. intervention throughout Latin America. Venezuela, 2026, is the doctrine's most explicit application in decades. Trump made this clear in his Mar-a-Lago press conference. We're going to run Venezuela until there's a safe transition. Not help Venezuela, not support Venezuelan democracy, run Venezuela. Direct American control over a sovereign nation's government and, critically, its oil industry. Trump was explicit. We will be very strongly involved in Venezuela's oil industry. Venezuela has 303 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, the largest in the world. Under Maduro, that oil went to China, Russia, and Cuba. Under American control, it goes to U.S. refineries. This is about energy dominance disguised as counter-narcotics operations. The legal justification remains questionable. Multiple senators asked whether Trump had constitutional authority to launch military strikes without congressional approval. The War Powers Act requires congressional authorization for military action unless responding to imminent attack. What imminent attack justified bombing Caracas? The administration's answer: Maduro was indicted on narco-terrorism charges, meaning he's legally classified as a terrorist. The 2001 Authorization for Use of Military Force, AUMF, grants the president authority to use force against terrorists. Therefore, capturing Maduro falls under existing authorization. This legal gymnastics allows the president to unilaterally bomb and invade any country whose leader is indicted by U.S. courts. The implications are staggering. Indict a leader, classify them as terrorist, launch military operation, install friendly government. No congressional approval required. Venezuela's Vice President Delcy Rodriguez went on state television hours after the operation, her voice shaking. "We do not know the whereabouts of President Maduro and First Lady Flores. We demand immediate proof of life." Even Venezuela's own government didn't know what happened. The operation was so fast, so overwhelming, that the Venezuelan command structure collapsed before they could respond. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado immediately declared, "The hour of freedom has arrived." She claims Edmundo Gonzalez won the 2024 presidential election and should be recognized as legitimate president. But Trump already said, "We're going to run Venezuela." Not Gonzalez, not the opposition. Washington, China, and Russia condemned the operation. Russia called it armed aggression and demanded an emergency UN Security Council meeting. China cited violations of international law. Iran warned of dangerous precedents, but none of them can stop it. Venezuela fell in 30 minutes because when you have 150-plus aircraft, months of intelligence preparation, inside betrayal, and political will, sovereignty is just a word. This operation sends a message to every Latin American leader. This is America's hemisphere. Challenge us and face Maduro's fate. Cuba is watching. Nicaragua is watching. Bolivia is watching. They see that oil wealth doesn't protect you. Military alliances with China don't protect you. Even a steel panic room doesn't protect you. When America decides you're done, you're done. Operation Absolute Resolve is a demonstration. It shows that America can gather intelligence for months without detection, build full-scale replicas and rehearse operations, deploy overwhelming air power undetected, execute surgical strikes with zero casualties, capture heads of state and extract them, control the narrative, and install new governments. No other country can do this. Not China, not Russia, only America. And Trump just proved it works. Venezuela today, Iran tomorrow? The playbook is established, the precedent is set, the Monroe Doctrine is back. What do you think? Was this a legitimate counter-narcotics operation or naked imperialism? Could you have escaped that panic room? And which country is next? Let's discuss in the comments. Stay with the Static Dispatch for operational breakdowns mainstream media won't provide.